Great. Yeah. What are the not so good stuff? And what kept you up until 7 a.m.?
Um, I recognize that I've been carrying out a lot of the behavior that I learned from my parents. I think that's already been established in previous talks, but I can I can really appreciate just how much I've been um, doing the same thing that Yuan was doing to me, but to Penny, just not in the same way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the same approach. I'd like to say that I didn't, behave or look at her as if there was anything wrong with her, but I'd be lying
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't trust her. And so then she's not
Mm-hmm.
trustworthy. And of course, there's something that I see as being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's reflected back towards me
Mm-hmm.
in me not being willing to see that I actually think that there's something wrong with myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's based on a uh, it's based on an ex it, I decided at one point in the last, I don't know, it must have been 5 or 6 years ago. um I decided to set up a framework by which I was going to operate in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is about the framework is that because it's put in place, I'm also I'm living out why I put it in place.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a whole lot of living out the same, living out like I'm very much beholden to that experience if I if I follow the framework.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it's a constant reminder,
Mm-hmm.
at least on an unconscious level.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, I'm not quite sure what to do about it, but I'm not sure what I can do to forgive myself for what I
Mm-hmm.
what, what I found myself involved in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing, Aubrey. This is huge. This is huge. Why is it a bad thing? Why is it not so? Why is this not the good?
Because it hurts a lot.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It hurts
Because I don't know what to do about it.
mm-hmm,
I have some guidance, and I know who I can ask for what I can do about it. Um,
do you need to do anything about it?
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the honesty. And this is a huge realization that comes with a lot of emotions. And what I see is, and it's so powerful because I see that in through our conversation. Right? We talked about you consciously cultivating where the relationship would go. And I think what you said is that you didn't trust her. And
I didn't trust either of us.
yes, and in turn, ultimately come back to yourself like, oh, it's me not trusting myself can be in this relationship as who I am. So what I see is that you and I did that too. Okay, we do that unconsciously. So when that happens, you're coming from not you. Like when that dynamic happens, right? We're coming from like, oh, I see what you need to work on. A little bit of like, I'm better than you. I'm here to help you, right? And the other person can sense that. But ultimately, if we reflect that, that ego is our distrust to ourselves or inconfidence. Because if we are confident, we don't have to come from a higher place. Just like you said, you didn't have to tell her all of the things you had to share with her, right? And and that's why I'm asking you, do you need to do anything? Is that simple awareness good enough? Is that precisely what you need at this moment? It it hurts because it's not comfortable.
It's because I'm ashamed.
Mm, mm, You're ashamed because because where does the shame come from?
Because I'm having to reconcile with what I constitute as mistakes.
Mm, hmm Is that a mistake though?
Certainly.
How so?
Well, I wouldn't want to repeat them.
Perfect. So could this awareness is this awareness of realization of this serve exactly that purpose? Is that Aubrey wouldn't repeat this pattern again?
Yeah.
Like I see this as a fantastic, like phenomenal thing that you arrived here and with some really, really phenomenon, just like so amazing self-reflection and awareness and elevate your own consciousness. It's like you have a third eye. You saw that you're repeating your parents' pattern. We all do. We all do. Okay. And you saw that what you were on the receiving end in your friendship and you kind of were giving that in your intimate relationship with Penny, right? And that's why it hurts. It's like, oh my God, how could I do that to her when what I hated to be in the receiving end and the shaming yeah, go ahead.
I burnt most of what he gave me.
Hmm
That was my reaction to what I saw, what was happening between us. So that's how strong the emotion is, acknowledging that I've been
hmm
behaving the same way, even though it's with the best intentions.
hmm hmm
I, I knew what I was doing as well. I just didn't know
hmm
how it would affect either of us.
hmm 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 There is a difference though between you and his name again? Yuan.
Yuan,
Yuan. and you and Penny. There is a there are a lot of differences, but there is a huge difference. What do you think that would be?
The only difference I can really see is that I wouldn't be going. I'm not willing to go to the same lengths that he went to.
In terms of like ghosting you.
In terms of
Oh,
enacting
in
my
terms of
will upon,
how do you cultivate that relationship? Yes, yes, yeah.
in terms of enacting my will upon another.
Mm-hmm. 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 That's a big one. The depth would you get into? I think you will already see that. That's why you pulled out, right?
I ended things.
Exactly. Okay. I also see a different. What else? What else do you see?
In terms of differences,
Mm-hmm.
um, I, I'm honestly not sure I see any other differences.
Okay. What's the common denominator between these two situations?
That we both wanted something for someone else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, great point. And I see the common denominator being you, right? Like in a simplified way, you're the common denominator between these two relationships. What I see the difference, can I share? Or do you want to go a little bit deeper yourself?
I would just say that all three of us were behaving the same way. So um,
Okay.
I'm not sure that I'm the common denominator in that regard.
Yeah, okay. Just physically, you're in both relationships, okay? What I see the difference is that your friend, so he was cultivating, right? He was trying, and yes, he wanted something. Uh,
Now that you say that he was not cultivating,
he
I
was
was.
what? Okay, tell me more.
He was sticking his fingers in every place he could,
Great.
and I wasn't.
He was forceful. He was very
He was
directive in terms of
he,
where he wants you to go.
he was forceful.
Yeah,
I wasn't. I was forceful upon my own behavior, and I allowed Penny to choose whether or not she wanted to engage with it.
amazing. One different. I love that because the energy is different. If we're talking about aura, Yuhan's energy is different than yours, right? His is like, this is what I want. If you don't do that, I'm just not going to engage with you. Yours is like, okay, I see this, there is a gap, I'm cultivating it, I'm allowing you to choose whether you want to engage with it or not. I
And
still
that
wish, yeah.
basically, I'm going to heal you whether you like it or not.
Hmm. Because you're sick. Yeah. Hmm. You're sick. Okay.
But of course, that's just a projection for himself,
Yeah.
and that's his relationship. What he feels like he needs to do in his situation with himself
And
because of what he feels.
that's fulfilling his ego. By healing you, his ego is fulfilled. It's like, oh, I am good, I am better than others. So
It's not about me.
exactly.
Uh,
But
it's
with
it's the
yep,
method by which he's engaging with by how he can heal himself for what he's been involved in and what he's done.
yes, his perception of healing for himself and healing for others. You and Penny is different.
Yes, very different.
This is with your friend is coming from his ego, his agenda. with you is your heart is, from what I see, is from a place of love.
Is this too? It's just different definitions
Of love.
based based on
Yeah, no.
based on our own personal understanding of what the word means.
Hmm. 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 But what's the part of allowing?
Well, he didn't
He
allow
wasn't
anything.
allowing.
He didn't allow anything. But
Okay.
I was trying to maximize allowing Penny to choose. But
Yes.
um, although I was trying to do so, um, because I didn't trust either of us, um, I wasn't actually allowing either of us. Um, so although it's not the same, um, because I wasn't like as outwardly as I was just as forceful, but not to her. I was as forceful to myself.
Also, forceful to yourself to behave in that way.
Um, to keep to the boundaries that I wanted to set as a container
Mm,
to allow um, some kind of healing to take place.
the results to happen.
Yeah,
Mm, hmm.
it's just dependent on
And
the it's just dependent on the focus.
that's your sort of defensive mechanism, because that's how you protected yourself, is to within this boundary and this container and to guide towards.
Yeah, but I've uh, in that regard, I've been trying to protect myself uh, for years and years.
And now you know.
Now I know a little bit better.
Okay. And it takes time, our patterns, right? And that's beautiful. Remember, I talked about the wall I see in you when we first
Yeah,
started. I even challenged you. You said, "Oh, I went to this um what's the trip again? Ayahuasca trip, and I saw a wall, and then the wall came down, right? I went in. I was like,
the
oh,
wall the wall never came down. It
oh, the
was
wall never came down.
the wall never came down.
You just went through it.
I found a gate.
You found a gate. Here we are. And in my mind, I was thinking like, wow, how do I guess? I was thinking 2 or 3 times we talked, right? I was like, man, okay, how do I get through him? Like, and that time I was like, I see the wall. Okay, I see the wall. I was like, okay, how, I mean, am I? I was like questioning, like, am I conscious enough, like capable enough to even, talk to him, right? Because you remember even the first chat with the Indian guy, you were like, yeah, this is that, da, da, da. Okay, what I see the difference, okay, is that with your friend, and he does this forcefully, right? If the other person doesn't engage in the way he wants, he's like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm not getting what I need or want in this relationship, right? I'm totally out. I'm going to cut him off, right? You're different. Now you are reaching this, I don't even have a word to describe it. It's like invaluable realization and understanding of yourself. And I know, like, this sense of awareness is the ultimate difference, because you are willing to look at yourself in the mirror. It's like, what the fuck has happened, Aubrey? That's the difference. And I know this realization will change all the relationships moving forward, because this is you cultivating, this is you being a human, and approach this with the humility, like, oh my God, dude, what happened? How did that happen? And now, with all this new learning about trust, about how you cultivate the relationship, and allowing, and ultimately not allowing, and how you protect yourself, this mechanism, this awareness, this is, I think, is a huge moment, and that will really guide future transformation for yourself and for your relationship with others. Because sitting in your discomfort right now is you cultivating self-trust with you. What's lacking now is a little bit self-love.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, what's lacking now?
I'm not being harsh on myself. In fact, if I'm not willing to see it for what it is, then I'm being willfully blind. And you can't know that you're engaging with, you know, you don't know if you're nourishing something if you are blind to what you're doing to it.
Okay,
So,
amazing.
um,
And now you just basically, yeah, you're absolutely right. This is your blind spot, and you
I,
saw your blind spot.
I wouldn't put any emphasis on my current emotional state because this is really fresh.
Mm-hmm.
This happened last night.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and the previous day. So I wouldn't. Yeah, it's not a reflection of um, how I'm feeling right now. Is not a reflection of where I'm at.
Okay. Do you understand where I was coming from in terms of the difference? Is you,
Yes.
is how you approach this realization. First of all, your friend wouldn't even go there. I
No.
mean, we don't know, not at least not now, right?
No.
So you look at yourself in the mirror, I mean, metaphorically, and to have all this, not only this week, but the week before, right? The week prior, right? You have constantly had new understanding about the situation, the role you play, and you are taking full fucking 100% ownership of the role you played in this. And that's the difference.
Yeah, it's a difference insofar as the data suggests, but I don't know. I don't know his reasons for um, his choices, and so for all
And
I
it
know, he
doesn't
could.
matter. Does it matter?
It doesn't matter, but the thing is that it's important to me to acknowledge that he might very well be making his decisions for the very same reasons that I'm making mine.
Why does that matter?
It matters how I
So,
continue to. It matters how I continue to hold him in my heart.
okay, no, good, good. That's a great point. And also, what's the point of compare you to him right now? I'm just curious. Like,
You've asked me to.
uh,
What's the
yes,
difference? That's
I'm asking you to guide you to focus on you, to help you realize that this is a yes, this has to be our whole conversation, Lisa. Damn it.
what,
Uh,
what, why are you thinking about the differences between you? What's, why are you comparing yourself to him? It's
yes.
like,
What? Okay. I know it's funny, but at the same time, I was trying to guide you to really focus on you, your experience in this, and
I mean,
then
I have been the whole time.
yeah, and the
It's I'm
positive.
the reason why I'm referencing him is specifically for what hatred I carry within myself. Okay, so I don't want to carry any. Like I said, within the first week after he ghosted me, I've remained relatively consistent. It's varied with emotions along the way, but I acknowledged that I wanted to aim for a situation such that if we found ourselves in each other's presence again, I would just smile and say thank you and say nothing more.
Hmm. Okay.
So, yeah, and yeah, I know that I really need the time to myself and specifically away from Penny because she still has her idea of me, and that's precious to her,
Mhm.
and I don't need to fuck it up because of my own problems, my own baggage.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's up to me to change my behavior and
Mhm.
to do it for myself.
Mhm.
And if that's, if that's something that she wants in her life, then it's up to her. And if not, then so be it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But um, reason why I had a really hard time last night um, was because I was really attached to who I wanted to be in her story
Mm. Mm. Mhm.
and what I wanted for her.
Mm.
But the thing is
Mhm.
that there's nothing wrong with that, really.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I have to acknowledge that it's something that I wanted for myself. I wanted to be the hero for myself.
Yeah, not for anyone else. Yeah.
No, no, and it's just the the difficulty has been accepting that it's I really could be that hero for her,
Mm.
but it's not up to me whether or not
Mm.
it's to be because it's up to her.
Mm.
But if I behave in such a way where it's not up to her, then I am, yeah, I'm damaging her integrity
Mm.
because I make a judgment that her character is a certain way, and I say, well, this is what I'll do for you.
Mhm.
And as long as she's engaging with that, she's damaging her own capacity to uh, choose from a really sacred place.
Mm. Mm.
And one of the last things I said to her when I saw her on Monday
Mhm.
was that she was in a position to completely change how I view all women and basically all men too, because of the trust that I was willing to put into the connection between us and what I can learn about myself from that connection. And that's exactly what's happened. It's exactly what's happened.
Mhm. She came to show you who you are, and and all the learnings you need to learn about yourself, and it is happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in in many ways, I don't feel like I deserve to have her in my life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Why? How so? Why are you not deserving?
just because she didn't burn everything I gave her doesn't mean that
Aubrey, it's a different. That's the shame, self-shame part, right? That's the judgment,
I know,
criticism,
I know,
and
I
that's
know.
why I said you need some self-love now. Like you
I'm
can't. Yeah.
I say it half-heartedly
Yes. Yes.
because
I'm I'm glad to see you laughing now. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean sometimes you just
it's
gotta
not
laugh at
actually
life, right?
well, it's funny because it doesn't actually matter whether or not I think
Yeah.
I deserve it or not. It's actually up to her. So
Yeah. Exactly. It's
so
it's in her power and choice to choose whatever comes her way. And you, we talked about that bus station, right? I'm trying to like being really solid. And, a little bit similar idea here. You don't need to do or not to do anything. You just need to be here and do your own work. And that's all you need to do. And you don't have to share with anyone else, like, oh, I'm doing this, right? Like you said, you don't have to express that. Yeah, you just need to hold yourself accountable, and that's all. And you are doing that precisely hard work. I see yourself in the mirror and it's like, what the fuck, Aubrey? What just happened? And, you know, I know it's hard. Do you know how hard this is? The work. That's why I say, oh my God, this is A+ work you're doing. I don't know. I don't have a word to describe this. It's like you have the courage and humility to even reflect on that and coming with all this just incredible realization about you. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And realizing, she came to your life to give you, not like consciously, but like to give you all these lessons of how valuable.
I've been I've been under the impression that I needed these walls for years, and for the rest of my life. And because I didn't trust myself because of the situation I found myself in. And I admitted that those walls were what I needed to give myself permission to continue to operate. So I'm thankful that they were there, but I'll allow them to crumble at their own.
One brick at a time.
Just well, it felt like a bit of a storm last night.
Yeah, I can tell. It's
So
like a huge part of the wall is coming down. and and yeah, it's like it shook your core, right? Shook our core when that kind of realization happens. Like, oh my God, damn it, have I been operating like that, right, for that long? And and that kind of realization, it usually comes from, I don't know why, like super, like really, really intimate relationships, right? Um,
because you can, you, uh, I firmly believe that you can't. That's that's the pinnacle of reflection because you can't, I mean, you're either inside someone or someone else is inside you. It's like, well,
mm.
I mean, you don't really get much closer than that, you know? So
Metaphorically,
just
okay.
on
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 all levels.
on any level you choose, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
so
know.
there's you can't get any so because you can't get any closer to someone, no one can serve as much as a good mirror.
Yeah, yeah. But
So
so many relationships fail because, we are not willing to be vulnerable, to see ourselves and through the other person's light, right? So many people choose not to,
yeah,
and then yeah,
largely because of an ego that people
absolutely,
aren't willing to
yes,
to contend with.
because our ego protects us, right? And that's their job. That's the job, is to protect, and whatever feels painful and discomfort, and we push that away because um we want what's the word, homeostasis, right? We wanted to be in that because, anyways, let me not go there. Yeah,
We want to be at peace with ourselves, and if that protections gives that, then it's serving its purpose.
yeah,
But but what level of inner peace do you want to experience? Because if the wall is there, it's there for a reason.
yes, yeah.
And
Are
so,
you
and so
willing to go to the dark hole to come out, right? I mean, how deep are you willing to go? And you are, yeah.
well, it's interesting because the conversation I was having with
I think I was just thinking, we talked about last year, you were really on the productive side in terms of podcast and stuff, right? Writing. And then it kind of took a turn with the incident and then relationship and recovering. So, and your friendship, your dad. Because as you were talking, I was like, oh my God, this is all part of your journey. You're learning, right? And one day will help transform someone else's experience and journey because you've lived through it, right? So, and
the,
we don't know how that looks like, but that's what I mean, is that this realization will transform all of your relationship. I wanted to wrap up and just asking what came up to you now be the most helpful in our discussion today.
I know what I want to do now.
Yay! Hey, great.
Yeah, and I've been dreading seeing Penny again because of the thought of carrying this energy with me and continuing to inject it into her life through my behavior and my perspective. And now I'm really very excited to see her um, because I know what I want to do, and I'm not scared of repeating the same mistakes, I guess.
Hmm. Because you know who you are. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I do know what I want to do.
Okay. I think that's a big step. Um, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.